Hi again and welcome again into another video from my fake power cable review series. As I've said in other videos, during past 6 to 8 months I've bought a set of fake cables to compare them to the originals that I have back home in my different audio setups. So in this video review I'll be focusing on the fake Furutech, yes, you can see that now, Alpha series power supply cable. What's important is the type here, FP-3TS20. According to all the resources I've could see on the web, officially this cable is no longer produced. It was discontinued a couple of years ago by Furutech. So now you can get basically on fake copies, on the fake cables from China. And believe me, there's a lot of cables like that circulating on the used power cable market. You can get it, the cheapest way to get it is to buy it directly from China. This is 1.5 meter cable and I bought it for $25. Yes, the plugs are completely different. These are generic plugs that I'm using with my equipment. You can see that this one is actually prepared to be used with my Cambridge Audio 851 W power amps, because they require 20 amps plugs. And okay, let's start with the basics. The width of the cable, almost 15 millimeters, so it's quite wide cable, but it's quite elastic. It's not very stiff, it's not very elastic, but you can bend it like that, although it will spring back. So now the cable inside. You can actually see it in a lot of photos from the sales offers from AliExpress, but this cable has an interesting internal build. You have 3 separate lines for the power delivery, and these are supposed to be made from PCOCC copper, and yes, they are made from the copper. I won't say anything about the purity of that copper, but it is copper. It's these wires inside. They are consisting of from a lot of very small diameter copper wires, smaller than the hair, but there's a lot of them in each of these looms, and all together they are giving quite nice AWG. So the next thing is the layer of insulation. There is a layer of insulation, red, yellow and transparent, and over that I was cutting this to prepare this plug, and I'm too lazy to get that plug out and to cut it deeper. Over that you can see here we have something that looks like a paper. It looks like a dry paper, and it's over each of these separate lines here. So it looks like each one of them has a separate layer of paper around it. Then you can see that all of them together, all 3 of them together, have a layer of this black rubber-like insulation. It's actually very rubber-like something, because it's not very stiff, it's very nice to touch. And over that, what's the most important thing here, and you cannot see it very well, maybe right now, is shielding. There is a very dense layer of net-like, fishnet-like copper shielding. And over that we have the final blue layer of insulation. The thing that I wanted to mention here is that this cable has a very dense shielding mesh inside. Unlike many other cables that I was reviewing, about half of them didn't have any kind of shielding inside whatsoever. This one has a very nice, very thick and very dense copper mesh. The copper mesh is not connected on this side, because this is a side reserved for the equipment. On the wall side of the cable, on the wall plug side of the cable, you should connect the shielding mesh with the grounding. So in this particular plug, I have both of them connected to this pole for the ground. The idea is that the mesh, the shielding mesh, will be collecting all of the currents and all of the EMI noises, and it will be working like a sink, delivering them to the earth pole here. So that's the general idea, to keep the noise and keep the EMI away from your equipment. Now let's try to get this back as it was. Oh, it will take me a couple of minutes, so let's leave it like that. Now, about the sound. As I said, the cable is cheap. It was like a bit less than 25 bucks. But this is one of the surprising discoveries of my test. I will do a comparison of all of the cables that I've tested in one video at the end of this series. Because I wanted to tell you about each cable separately, and as opposed to do 1 2-hour long video. So the comparison with other cables will be at the end, but I can already give you spoilers. This cable was one of the best cables in the whole test. It's very cheap, but it has great holography, it has amazing detail. It's very easy on the ears. I mean, it's not harsh, it's not sibilant, but yet it still has great detail, great treble extension, great airiness, and great holography. So great qualities for the great cable, and all of this is delivered to your ears in a very natural, very easy flowing way. So I love the cable. It's also one of the cables that surprised me with the mid-range. The mid-range that I got from the equipment connected to this cable, because let's say that again, this cable doesn't sound, but in some way this kind of cable does affect the sound of the equipment that this cable is connected to. So the mids were great. The mids were really outstanding, and as you can see, it's already prepared to be used with my power amplifiers. I got 2 of them, and they are so good that they will be my daily driver for my power amps. For my digital to analog converter, I found a couple of cables that sounded better. Yes, there were 2 cables that were also sounding better with my power amplifiers, but they were more expensive, way more expensive, and the difference in the price was minimal. No, sorry, not in the price, but in the sound quality. They were more expensive, but the difference in the sound quality between these 2 cables that I'll be reviewing later was minimal compared to this one. So the black horse of the race, highly recommended, because it was the cheapest or one of the cheapest cables in the whole test, and it had almost the best sound quality for the equipment that it's being used to power. Okay, so that's basically it. I've told you about the sound, about the mechanical aspects, and now I have to get the braiding in place. This is just a simple plastic braid that you can get cheaply in your nearest electric store or on eBay or AliExpress, and I'm using it on my cables like that one, because they are easy to scratch and they just don't look good like that. So I'm covering this with additional layer of braid, and I'm using the cheapo and generic plugs. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for the next ones in series. Have a nice day, guys. Bye.